My name is Christopher Stillar. I'm just your average, ordinary guy. I've been married to my high school sweetheart for over 20 years, and I'm the father of 4 children. I live a typical life, ordinary in every way. Oh yeah, did I mention? I hear and see dead people. I'm a spiritual medium, and this is my story. In the mid-90s, a traumatic and serious health crisis, combined with the death of my beloved grandmother, changed my life in ways I could never have predicted. Now it is I who is changing lives. Real people in real pain, dealing with unimaginable grief, getting the chance to connect one more time with those they loved and lost. Changing people's lives and healing their souls with the help of their loved ones in spirit is my daily work, it's my passion, and my life's purpose. Welcome to my world, and welcome to Seeking Spirit.
My name is Tracy. I was here to see Chris last May, and I rebooked. It took about 9 months to get back to see him, and I came here today in hopes to hear from my grandmother.
The first thing that I want to say is, upon your entering the office for your reading or your session today, I was aware of a male coming through around you. Now I have a male and a female, so I have 2 people coming through. What I need to say to you, and both are not elderly or old people, okay? So I've got like what feels like younger generation coming through. I don't mean children to you, but I think at your level is the connection that I've got, okay? So just bear with me when I talk about this. I want to acknowledge or make reference, what was coming through for a male was a substance issue, or I don't know if it's alcohol or prescription or what, but it felt like there was a heavy intoxication or a heavy amount in the bloodstream before his death. I don't think, in all honesty, I'm talking suicide. I do feel like there's something where the amount of whatever the substance is in his bloodstream is what ultimately caused his passing. Okay? Does that confuse you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm talking at your level or to
Yeah.
your side, so just remember that I'm saying that. And it may not even be family, but just remember that I'm saying that he was the first one I felt. The other thing I just need to say about a female is cancer-based is what I've got coming through. So I'm not sure the why of this, but she makes me feel like health-related, and then I do want to say cancer. I do want to ask you something, though. Where would the Christy, I don't know what other, Crystal, but it's got that sound to it.
Female?
I think so.
Nothing I can think of now.
Okay. It seems like where I'm linking this is at your level or to your side, where they would be bringing this name up, and there could be I think there's the affiliation to the cancer connection that they're acknowledging. So either this person is the one passed, or this name is living but connected to the female that passed this way. So just remember, I feel like there's some kind of a version of the Chris name that they want me to acknowledge. But it's the female saying it, okay? The first name of one individual you're hoping to hear from today.
Margaret.
Margaret? I'm curious about a couple things that she brings up. One is a balance issue. So let me elaborate before you respond. There's an issue where I feel like she would have been, there was a period of being in distress that she's talking about, where somebody wasn't, or people weren't around her, and they find out after the fact. The thing that I want to talk about, I'm not seeing her necessarily fall or collapse. That's not what she's focused on. Do you know why I would feel like her balance was off? Because she seems to bring up a balance issue.
I think so.
Okay, but you're not sure?
I think so.
Okay. There's something where she makes me feel like, and I don't believe I'm talking about you, but I feel like a female has issues around, in some capacity, feeling like she wasn't there for, even though I feel like was present in her life and has no reason to feel this. There's unresolved issues around this, because I feel like there's something that in hindsight, this woman sees as like, she needed me and I wasn't there. And I hope she didn't suffer or was in a bad state for too long, because she brings this all up and she makes me feel, and does that sound applicable to her?
Yep.
I just don't know what the balance thing is and why I feel something with the hip, to be honest with you. I really do, and I don't know why. It's like I'm leaning on something for support is the way she's showing this. Does that all make sense?
That's what happened.
Okay. So she had a hip issue? Like, did she fall?
And broke her hip.
Her hip. And so then this female struggles with how long was she there, how much, why wasn't I there, you know, all human nature stuff. But she shows me this gripping of the counter or whatever this is, dresser, I don't know. But, and then I feel like my balance and then my hip, and then she doesn't want me focusing on the ground, the collapse. She just doesn't. But she shows me all this other stuff. It is not that woman's fault. We know this. Common sense tells you that.
Yeah.
Human nature says, why wasn't I there for her? Why wouldn't I have checked on her? Why didn't I call her? You know, blah, blah, blah. And maybe at some point did. It just seems unfounded. The last thing that Margaret wants is for, is this your mom that she would be referring to? What's the female living that has
My
these
aunt.
feelings? Your aunt,
My
okay. Because I knew I'm at your parental level when she's acknowledging the female. If you can let her know, or maybe she'll see this, who knows, but if you could let her know there was nothing she could do about it. And she's like, I'm not going to lie. It wasn't that it was easy, and it isn't that it didn't hurt. But I think the aunt, your aunt, this female that she's addressing, makes it worse or plays out scenarios far worse in her head and her heart than the reality was. It was not easy, though. It was not easy. Do you know if there's a real, I say a real issue, excuse me, a debate for, and I don't know who it fell on. What would be the debate that she brings up about do we put her through it or not? That would be medical or surgical? Because it seems like not a fight, but the reality of and the discussion of, like, can she even sustain this? Would her heart hold out? Is it worth putting her through this? Would she survive it, or do we just try to let it mend? But she
Bring her home and
she brings up this whole what I call debate, but it's not a fight.
no.
And I honest to God don't know how it plays out. She hasn't shown me that yet, but she is aware, and I think some of this discussion was not occurring around her, but she's aware of it. And she just honestly, it might sound very cliche, Tracy, but she's just so happy when she looks back at that time. The love that was around her, she's grateful for. This is going to sound really generic, but I want to talk about your mom and dad just for a minute. Is there something that you would be aware of why Margaret would make me want to say to you, there's an aspect with your dad that I feel like he's hesitant on or not moving ahead or acting on, and I don't know why. I feel like your mom would want him to, or would be in favor of, or, you know, I wouldn't say pushing him, but there's something that she brings up, like reluctance with him for. Are you aware of some dynamic in their life that would be going on that way?
Maybe some things, I think.
So there could be some things that I don't need a definitive. I don't want to know what it is. I just need you to know that Margaret is bringing up the aspect of, or the reference to, dad's, like, I feel flat-footed if I'm him. I feel like I'm not acting on or moving ahead in some way. And I feel like your mom, I'm not getting frustration. I just feel like she's not on the same place with him and he's not acting, but I feel like it falls onto him. So I don't know why the hesitantness, but she seems to be acknowledging this about your dad. I don't get bad feelings, so I don't expect you to leave here and say to Dad,
No.
Grandma says this or whatever.
No, I think my dad's just got things he's got to let go from people who have passed, I think.
So he's got a lot of not resentment, but issues where he's not dealt with the grief and the loss and that. That's possible. I just feel like he's flat-footed. He's not moving ahead. There's I forget the word that they first had me say, but a hesitantness and not moving ahead that she shows, whereas I feel like your mom would want them to. And so it's just got that feeling, whether it's that or something else.
Yeah.
Time will tell. You have a regret issue about not seeing her before. I'm not saying when she dies, before, that she brings up. And I don't know if it's because you're busy. I don't know if it's because you didn't take the time. Listen, I'm going to tell you why I know this, and I'm not trying to sound so sure that I couldn't be wrong, because I could be. But when they take me back to my family issues, and when I see the way that I felt about my grandfather, that I had not taken the time, I had reasons. He was not mad. Life is busy, you know, blah, blah, blah. Her whole thing is about how you felt about it in hindsight, where you would like beat yourself up about something. And I feel like it's about not taking the time to go there. I'm not saying you didn't see her, and you sure as hell aren't absentee, but there's a moment that she's talking about that you wished you had taken to go see her, because I think you either had the thought or that you should, and then life kicks in.
Yeah.
Do you understand that? She just doesn't want you being stuck on that, because the human mind has a way of replaying, you know, and not always positive. Usually not positive is when we, you know, are like a record that skips. And she just makes me feel like you couldn't have known, and you can't change it, and there's nothing personal about it, like why you didn't. It was just like, I'll do it another day, or I'll have another opportunity. Well, you got to see her, and that it just wasn't in the right conditions, and that's what I think the regret is. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. She says, let it go. You have a feel. No, how do I say this? You think you know what's good for other people. I don't know how else to say that to you. Do you find that with your family you're opinionated?
Yes.
Okay. I'll give you kudos for being honest. Because she's laughing, but she makes me feel like you can be, anyway, say it's going to sound judgmental. She's not. It's what she sees, it's what she observes. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it's up to you and the family to decide. She just makes me feel like you're very quick at, I don't know if I'd say input or resolving things, but people don't always listen or follow it. But I think for you, you're quick to resolve things or see scenarios that could play out. And I feel like you're not scared to voice that to people. And
I'm honest.
and that's good. That's good. All I'm going to say is she just kind of, not in a reprimanding way, but in a cautionary way, says be careful. Be careful, because you can have the greatest of intent and you can have all the love in the world, because I get all that. But the bottom line is you don't know how people receive it. So, and then it's like, I was just trying to help.
Yes.
And then it creates little waves, and she's like, so sometimes it's better just to think versus the verbal.
Right.
I hope you don't think she's reprimanding you,
No.
because it doesn't have
No.
that feel to it.
No, I don't.
I think it's all about avoiding hurt feelings. I'm just going to ask you, and she's not even referencing a time period. Would you technically know or have a ballpark idea, so it's a yes or no only, of from the time that she had her accident to the time that somebody found her, came upon her, was aware of it? Do you have an idea of what that time span is? Do you know if somebody might have been there but didn't notice, or if somebody had come around but didn't notice, and then another person would have been the one?
It's not the story we heard, but
Well, I'm not trying to
No.
cause
yeah, no,
deception in your family. I'm wondering if somebody came there but didn't come in the house, or if somebody, you know, was unaware of but had been present, and then another person.
She
or
was
the
in a
second.
nursing home.
Okay.
so it wasn't home.
Okay. But it's where she lived.
Mm-hmm.
I literally feel like she makes me feel like somebody was in the peripheral area but didn't realize or didn't see her or didn't know.
Well, and there's question about how all that happened, but it's something that I think the family has,
Suspected but couldn't verify?
and why the need to, right?
Okay. Well, I don't know if she's opening a can of worms. But I am going to tell you, she makes me feel like from the time that the person that found her or comes upon her and sees her there, I felt like there was somebody else prior. And it's not a, think what you want, and I'm not backpedaling. Even when she first presented it, I didn't feel like it was a negligent thing. I think the person was unaware of or did not see or wasn't paying attention. So it wasn't like purposely, oh, she's down,
Right.
and ignored her. It's not that.
Right.
I just felt like there was another person that could have found her sooner. It doesn't change anything. It wouldn't have
Nope.
changed anything.
No.
But then it's the second person that finds her is the way she makes me feel. So Tracy, I want to ask you, do you know why she would bring up, and I honestly believe for you, a mixed feeling or a back and forth feeling where I would talk about confusion and unease when it comes to a relationship? Because she's bringing it up, and I don't get definitive answers of where it's going or what the outcome's going to be or anything of that, but I do need you to know that she brings up her awareness of this, and that to me she would seem so specific it's for you, and that you're not alone, and that she understands how you feel. And I wish to hell it was clear cut, and I don't mean her message to me. I mean for you. I wish to hell it was just black or white. And yet you're the black and white girl. We've discussed this with your family. This is not so black and white. And she just wants you to know you're not alone. And whatever you decide, whatever comes about, I just know like she's like rubbing your back, and it's like you're going to do fine. And I'm not trying to leave it open-ended in a psychic way of saying, you know, I can't tell you what's going to happen because she doesn't show that. And I don't know what stage you're at, but I felt current. And I really feel torn, and I really feel mixed up about it. So, but you're not going to make a mistake, I promise you that. That's what she's saying. And you will learn to trust your heart and make the right decisions. But I just think the important part of that isn't where it goes from here, because you have to live that yet. I think the important part is, you're welcome. The important part is she's aware, you're not alone, and she's there to support you through it. What would be the aspect of why I feel like I should tell you should be teaching, mentoring, helping people that way? Is there some reason why that would be applicable to you? I totally forgot to tell you, and it's being stated again. Is there something that you might have? I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that. Is there some capacity in your life that you used to instruct or teach that now you're not?
No.
Okay. I don't get it. And I always say they let you live your own life. It's not, they don't try to push you in any one direction. But that seemed very clear when they said you should be teaching, and it had that feeling of mentoring. So the problem with using the term teaching is it locks you into thinking school teacher.
Right.
I don't know if that's it.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some kind of instructional, mentoring, teaching aspect that I think you're not doing, that either comes natural to you or you have something to offer people. So does that just totally throw you out in left field?
No, there might be something coming up. I just haven't heard yet.
Ah,
But-
perfect. I just know you should be teaching, or whatever that phrase is. So if that's being an indicator that you might be offered something or
And
the
that's what I'm waiting
opportunity.
for.
Okay. Well,
But-
and I just need you to know that happened a half an hour ago before
Okay.
we ever started. Do you know, Who I'd be talking about, or why Margaret would be talking about the family where there's 2 females and a male?
Possibly, yeah.
They have to be either siblings or at the same level,
Mm-hmm.
not combination parent-children thing.
Right, yeah.
Is there something with the 2 females, male, where something's not cohesive or not running smoothly with, that she would be acknowledging? Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Why would she stand out one female out of those 3? Do you have an idea?
Maybe, yes.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
I don't know what this means, and I don't know where she's going with it. I always say they try not to be judgmental, but they have to, in some way, through a medium, bring out factual stuff that will make sense to you or to somebody that's going to hear your recording that it's applicable to. But she shows me 2 and 1, and then I feel like I just got a little standout with the female, and I don't know why. Not both, one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a wrinkle. I feel like something's not smoothly something there the way that something has unfolded or is unfolding. So, does that sound too generic to you?
No, I think, I understand it.
I'm not interested in pulling out personal stuff or going into depths about it. I just know she's bringing it up,
Yeah.
and her awareness of this and
Yes.
watching the situation.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
there's myself, my sister, my brother.
Okay. Well, there could be
So-
something with the 3 of you where one of either you or your sister is a standout for some reason, which I don't understand.
Yeah, probably, yeah. My brother and I have always been
Closer?
a little closer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like whether it's the cohesiveness or what,
Mm-hmm.
just, I don't know. Maybe it's easy if it's you and your brother are the 2 that get along. Maybe it's easy for me just to try to throw her under the bus now and say, oh, it must be her. But before I knew it was her or you, I just knew she was showing the division or the way this is.
Yep. No, and we all get along. It's just,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. I don't know if she's blunt. I don't know if she's curt. I don't know if there's things that are said or an expectation. It sounds like I'm throwing her under the bus. I think she has a way of delivering things that is not too thoughtful at times. So I could be completely off, and I could be completely wrong because I thought before you were the verbal, direct one. But I think there's something of either expectation or the way that something is delivered that gets people's backs up. And this does not help her out. And I'm sorry that I said that. but Margaret's acknowledging it. I don't feel like she's got favorites.
No,
I really mean that.
no, I don't know.
It's
Never
like,
was.
you know, I think there might have been something I said to you earlier. Well, yeah, I talked about your directness and like that wasn't easy to hear maybe. So I feel like she's not trying to pull punches and she
Yeah.
certainly doesn't have favorites, but it's just, I think the way she sees things and would want people to get along or for it to be easier, I think.
It was good. A lot. Last time there was a lot more spirits that were just coming up, whereas this time, like a lot more was spent just with my grandmother. But it was good. My grandmother had a fall one night and fell and broke her hip. She ended up at St. Mike's, had a hip replacement, and she just wanted to come home. So my dad and my aunt made the decision just to bring her. She wanted to come back home, and they brought her back home, and she died the next day.